school term will commence. In this week's edition of InfoHub InDepth, we take a look at how the government has transformed the education sector over the last 3 years. We also look at the measures the Ministry of Education is ready to put in place should the Guyana Teachers Union follow through with their threat of industrial action.
The future of Guyana has never looked better. Our nation is on the cusp of a development program like never seen before. While Guyana is now emerging as an energy giant through the discovery of massive reserves of oil and natural gas, it is your government's intention that the huge benefits emerging from this will go where it matters most, to you, the people of this beloved country. There is a surge of confidence in the way Guyana is governed once again, and the level of investor interest is unprecedented. Guyana is poised to become the breadbasket of the region, and the pace at which this nation will grow through prudent fiscal management will be nothing short of impressive. But more than anything else will be the way every Guyanese, regardless of color, class, or creed, becomes a part of this historic period of national transformation, sharing in the wealth and well-being of it all as one Guyana.
The government has consistently invested in the education sector to ensure that the nation's children receive the highest quality of education. In fact, budgetary allocation towards the sector under the APNU-AFC coalition government has steadily increased. In the 2018 national budget, the government allocated 15.7% to the sector, the largest budgetary allocation for education. Minister of Education Nicolette Henry, during the 2018 budget debates, shared how the government has been transforming and improving the education sector.
In 2017, we invested significant sums at the nursery, primary, and secondary levels. Apart from routine activities, some of the initiatives we rolled out included emergency intervention for mathematics at the primary level, with a strong focus on content and methodology. Expansion of the music program, where we trained in excess of 300 teachers in the areas of dance, music, visual arts, and physical education, with a view to creating more rounded students.
In this year alone, the Ministry of Education undertook several initiatives to improve the sector, Minister Henry noted.
Monies have been allocated in the 2018 budget for curriculum review. The interactive radio instruction program will be reviewed. There will be leadership training for senior teachers, development of a handbook for teaching method and strategies for primary teachers, and the development of standards for primary mathematics from grades 1 to 6. Mr. Speaker, these interventions will build on the progress already made to better equip our students holistically, to allow them to succeed in the 21st century, where all of the opportunities and inevitable challenges that lies before us.
Teachers are crucial to the improvement of the education sector. Apart from benefiting from a number of training, they have also benefited from salary increases. Over a 3-year period, the government has increased the minimum wage by over 50%. In 2015, the minimum wage was just under $40,000. Today, it is $60,000. Teachers were also among the 14,000 public servants who benefited from a scaled increase in wages and salaries. The scale ranged from 8 to 0% for workers on a salary scale of $55,555 to $1 million. There were also one-off bonuses paid out to public servants in the sum of $50,000 in 2015 and $25,000 in 2016. Following these increases, today an unqualified teacher can earn $66,135. A trained teacher who has 6 subjects without math or English can earn $100,886, while teachers with an academic level can earn $104,624, and those with technical and vocational qualifications can earn $108,362. A non-graduate senior teacher can earn $115,433, while a graduate can earn $161,801.
I want to implore upon the teachers that are here that we do value your service and we do appreciate the great work that you do every day. I've said that from the first day I came into office as Minister of Education, and I will continue to say that until the day that I'm not able to speak, because I believe that it's only through professionalism and good service and good ethics that you can achieve anything.
In recognition of teachers' contribution to improving the education sector, the government initiated a high-level task force to fast-track salary negotiations for public school teachers.
The Ministry of Education and the Guyana Teachers Union, GTU, have been meeting to negotiate a multi-year agreement. More recently, the two sides met several times in August. During the meeting, both sides were able to reach a consensus on the issue of the salary increase for teachers. The ministry has said the proposal is too high, while the GTU has said it will strike if its requests are not met. Despite efforts by the government to meet at the bargaining table, the Guyana Teachers Union has been steadfast in its position that government meet its demands. Government has indicated that currently the country's economy is unable to support the demands of the union.
We cannot afford to give 40% increases in wages to teachers at this point in time. I said that to the union. I've on record as having said that, but every opportunity that I've been asked, and I say that again this morning.
The union's proposal is seeking a 40% increase in salary for 2016, 45% in 2017, 50% in 2018, 50% in 2019, and 50% in 2020 be granted to all categories of teachers or educators for the years 2016 through 2020. The ministry's counter-proposal states that the government will make available a ballpark figure to facilitate an increase in salaries for all teachers based on the current salary scale. It was also agreed between the two parties that a specialist will be contracted by the government to work with the union to determine the percentage of increase per category. The union's disagreement with government's offer sparked the beginning of what the union said will become a daily routine in all regions across Guyana if the government does not heed their demands. Minister Henry reiterated government's strong support for teachers and the education sector on a whole. She said the government cares for teachers and the students. In fact, she said that it is the government's responsibility to provide educational services to the nation's children.
As government, I want to say that we will continue to advocate on behalf of teachers. We will continue to look out for our teachers. We will continue to look out for our children. It is my responsibility and my duty to ensure that the school system functions, whether we have to have substitute teachers, alternate teachers, temporary teachers. We cannot. That's not one that you can play around with people's education.
The first conciliatory meeting scheduled between the Ministry of Education and GTU on Friday, August 24, did not yield any success as the GTU did not show up. The union was seeking to move ahead with arbitration. This was again communicated by the GTU when the two sides met on Wednesday, August 28. The Labour Department, however, maintained that before arbitration could take place, the strike action must be called off and a memorandum containing terms of resumption be signed by the parties. However, since the GTU has not agreed to the terms of resumption governing the end of the strike and the advancement of conciliation, the meeting was adjourned. On Thursday, August 30, following a meeting between the two parties, the Labour Department had again urged GTU to participate in the conciliatory process before it considers moving to arbitration. The GTU had maintained its stance on moving on to arbitration.
But when I drink a nice guy, I get smoking on. Hey barman, y'all don't sell cigarettes anymore?
The new tobacco law says we can't have cigarettes on public display and we can't advertise that we sell it.
Okay, give my pack.
You can't do that in here, buddy. The law states that you can't smoke in an enclosed area. You have to go outside.
I think that's how they do it in foreign. So, the law finally comes again. I'm glad though.
Let's all work together to prevent cigarette smoking related illnesses.
While the GTU has held its ground, the ministry took the decision to meet with parents and teachers who are supporting the education system.
Minister Henry and a team from the ministry first visited Regions 5 and 6 on Monday, August 27. They met with parents and teachers at the Berbice High School in New Amsterdam and the Lachman Singh Primary in Bushlot, West Coast, Berbice. That meeting saw the minister addressing the industrial action and recommitting government support to the sector.
First of all, I want to say that we will continue to ensure that we exercise good judgment and that we negotiate in good faith, not only for our interest, but for the interest of all of our teachers. As a government, we took a position to remunerate teachers for 2018 to the tune of 700 million Guyana dollars for salaries and wages, 2018. And there's also a separate figure for debunching issues. As you may know, as parents and as teachers, the Guyana Teachers Union would have approached the Ministry of Education asking for, among other things, salary increases. There were several things, 8 things that we were asked and that were proposed, and we looked at them in their entirety and in sincerity.
Chief Education Officer Marcel Hudson said the ministry will be utilizing the services of retired teachers and CPC students to ensure that the strike action by the GTU has minimal impact on the students.
I did not mention the source of where we're going to get teachers from, but we're actually looking at getting teachers from the Surrey College of Education. We have approximately 204 of them who are continuing. We have 98 prospective graduates and also final year students.
The Chief Education Officer assured parents that they need not worry about the affairs of their children should the GTU maintain its position on industrial action. Minister Henry reminded the teachers and parents of the talks that the ministry has had with the GTU during this month to come to an agreement. She noted that out of the 8 proposals put forward by the union, 7 of them were either partially or fully addressed.
As government, I want to say that we will continue to advocate on behalf of teachers. We will continue to look out for our teachers. We will continue to look out for our children. It is my responsibility and my duty to ensure that the school system functions, whether we have to have substitute teachers, alternate teachers, temporary teachers. We cannot. That's not one that you can play around with people's education.
The Education Minister visited several schools where rehabilitation works are ongoing in order to ensure that on September 3, students and teachers will be housed in an education-friendly environment. Over the weekend, the minister assessed works at Tugville Secondary, Cummings Lodge Secondary, St. Joseph High, and the Special Education Needs Diagnostic and Assimilation Center. On Wednesday, Minister Henry engaged teachers at Hope Secondary School on the East Bank, Demerara, Queen's College in Georgetown, and West Demerara Secondary School in Region 3.
I know that you are ordinary people that do extraordinary things each and every day. And many of us, and many of you are like me. You may have one child, and some of you no children. But we get up and we come every day, and we work for the interests of the nation's children. And so I'm with you. And I will never lose sight of the prize.
The minister and team have been meeting with teachers and parents to assure them of the government's steadfast support to the education sector in the face of current GTU strike action. She assured that under her leadership, the issue of teachers' salaries will be resolved.
This is a long-standing issue, and many of my predecessors were dealing with this issue. I'm not the first Minister of Education to address this issue, but I hope I will be the last one because I want to put this issue to rest. We will go all the way to resolve it, and we will resolve it amicably in the interests of the people of this country.
Minister Henry expressed optimism that GTU and the government will find an amicable solution on the matter.
I happen to be the Minister of Education, and it is my duty to ensure that we continue to make progress in this sector. I know that there will be times when there will be distraction and detractors, but that is life, that is politics, and that is how it works.
Weighing in on the matter, President David Granger on Friday said the government will be seeking out new sources of funding to meet the wages and salaries of the teachers. The head of state said the strike action by the teachers should be a last resort as there is still room for mediation talks between the government and the GTU. The head of state said, as was the case with the Gaisuco workers, government is currently looking at budgetary cuts to programs within various agencies and ministries to meet the initial payment to teachers.
If mediation fails, we can go to arbitration. But I think it's premature to speak of a strike at this stage. And we are still, on the government side, aiming at mediation. I do not believe that mediation has failed. The government has been trying to meet the teachers' needs after several discussions at Cabinet on the high-level panel report, money was found to augment the initial offer, and even as I speak, the Ministry of Social Protection, which has responsibility for labor and industrial relations, is in touch with the Ministry of Finance to see whether additional funds could be found from other heads of government expenditure in order to move closer to the goal of providing sufficient funds for the teachers.
President Granger reminded that over the last 3 years, the lowest paid teachers have been beneficiaries of pay increases along with other public servants. On the matter of the multi-year agreement with the GTU, President Granger said at this stage, the immediate focus is for the two parties to conclude an agreement which would see the calling off of strike action and the beginning of long-term discussions on that agreement. Additionally, the head of state said while the contingency plan to be activated in the event of strike action is not favored, it is a temporary arrangement.
Over the last 3 years, the government implemented programs to ensure teachers have the necessary training development opportunities, job security, and salaries to deliver the quality learning which children are entitled. You have been watching InfoHub InDepth. Do join us again next week.
Roundabouts. Approaching a roundabout. When you approach a roundabout, you must use your indicator if you intend to turn left or right or make a U-turn at the roundabout. You must give other road users sufficient notice of your intent to turn. Entering a roundabout. When entering a roundabout, you must slow or stop to give way to any vehicle already in the roundabout. You must also continue to use your indicators if you intend to turn left or right or make a U-turn. Turning left. When turning left, you must indicate left on approach and be travelling in the left-hand lane unless there are road markings with other instructions. Stay in the left lane and exit in the left lane. Turning right. When turning right, you must indicate right on approach and be travelling in the right-hand lane unless there are road markings with other instructions. Making a U-turn. When using a roundabout to make a U-turn, you must approach in the right lane and signal right. Changing lanes in a roundabout. Drivers may change lanes in a roundabout if they wish. The usual road rules for changing lanes apply. You must use your indicator and give way to any vehicle in the lane you are entering. Going straight ahead. You don't need to signal when approaching the roundabout if you are going straight ahead. You may approach the roundabout from either the left or right lane unless there are road markings with other instructions. Exiting a roundabout. As when you exit a road, you must signal left when leaving a roundabout, if it is practical to do so, and you should stop indicating as soon as you have exited the roundabout. However, when you are travelling straight ahead on a small single-lane roundabout, it may be impractical to indicate when exiting.